I'm Ada Rose-Canon. I work for the web browser Samsung Internet. And Samsung Internet as a browser is one that's like focused on like privacy and security. I also am co-chair of the W3C Immersive Web Groups, and these are the groups that are focused on WebXR, so the groups that bring like augmented reality and virtual reality to the web. So that's really like my area of expertise.
How would you personally go about explaining the importance of online accessibility to someone who'd never ever really considered it before?
Well, I think for me, the for explaining accessibility to people depends very much on who I'm speaking to. Because if I'm speaking to someone who I think is like a good person who gives a shit about other people, I can swear, right?
Yes, you can.
I'll I'll try and keep good language anyway. Um, yeah. So as if someone seems like a good person, then yeah, I'd like they'll understand that excluding people from the products we build is just really not a nice thing to do, and we should do better. If I'm speaking to a business person who seems like a bit of an ass and only cares about like money and doesn't really care about the users at all, then I'm usually explaining something like, hey, like if you make something accessible, it's good for like all your customers, not just those with accessibility needs. And so you will get better engagement.
How do you think the internet will change over the next 10 years? And what specific features or habits that exist now do you hope will be seen as from their time?
Oh, this is actually a good question. So I'm going to answer how do I think the World Wide Web will exist in the next 10 years? Because that's more where I focus. I think the internet will probably stay largely the same, aside from with like, there will be some like larger architectural changes due to like 5G. People will continue pushing more stuff out to the edge, but like the way the internet will change probably won't affect many users apart from like the engineers working on it. But the web, I think, will change significantly. Maybe for the worse, maybe for the better. So, like for one, I hope in 10 years we still have the web. I like it. I think it's good. It's about 30 years old. I hope it makes it to 40. Things are looking a bit dire at the moment. Like we're all like I'm hoping we're in like a low spot where people are realizing the damage that's being done to like to humanity and to the web as a whole via like these huge siloed platforms like Facebook, and that people start to break things out a bit more and like reclaim the web for themselves and for the individual rather than like the web for corporations. The less value the web has, the less people are willing to invest in it. Like there's less need for web developers. Just and the whole thing kind of spirals downwards until something replaces it. And the replacement for the web will probably not be some open decentralized platform, but will be something owned by a big corporation that is still doing all the nasty stuff, but now you don't have a choice.
Well, what might that be, do you think? Do you think like the first thing I think of when you say that is like Zuckerberg's metaverse or something like that? Is that too early?
Precisely, yes. I've been talking about this like a little bit recently of how like so for those of you who aren't in like the weird AR, VR, XR community, the concept of like a metaverse comes from like dystopian science fiction novels of some big virtual world where people still live their lives. So it's like a little bit like the web, except like a combination of immersive technology placed on top. So you could, so a physical store could have an augmented reality store that lies on top, or like a virtual reality store that's like purely in the web, or sorry, purely online. And so the modern concept of like the metaverse as like a real thing that people are trying to build is basically any kind of technology that allows people to combine experiences from multiple creators in a single space. And there's a lot of companies that want to be like the metaverse platform. So, for example, what Facebook's trying to do. If everything goes well, in 10 years, when immersive hardware is a lot more normal, because I think there's a lot of companies working on immersive hardware right now. And there's like a lot of AR headsets in particular being announced at the moment. Like 2 have been announced. Well, no, there's new VR headset, new AR headset just announced recently. Like the AR VR ecosystem is far from dead. It's so yeah, it's going to be weird. Like whether we have AR glasses or like projectors or like depth-based displays. These are all things that can be part of, which can be part of like new styles of hardware, which people aren't used to. And it's going to be like as over like from like 2004 to 2014, we saw like the rise of the mobile internet and mobile rising from like a almost unused way to access the web to the predominant way people access the web. I think we're probably going to see something similar between like 2024 and 2034. And if that happens, the web's going to look very, very different. But hopefully the web that we know today will still exist and still work on all of the new hardware. Just like the web from 2001 still works on mobile phones today.
What do you think the main dangers are in terms of it being inaccessible or unfair or not ethical? And what do you think people in certain positions can do to try and do their part in making sure that the future worlds are as fair and welcoming as possible?
So I think like a lot of like immersive technology at the moment isn't made to be accessible out the box. Like that's a hard problem to solve, and I think that's really important. I also think a lot of the risks with like newer immersive technologies is you have the ability to consume huge amounts of information because you require a huge amount of information to do like immersive technology well. So you know someone's height, you know what their stuff they're looking at, the way they move. You can work out a huge amount about someone through this kind of thing. And so a lot of the problems we're trying to solve in the immersive web groups in W3C is making immersive technology like safe for users as well as good. If everyone so I kind of trust experiences that go through a web browser a lot more because the web browser is there to try and keep me safe. And I worry that if the future of the web or the future of web-like things is via native applications running on the headset, then that layer of safety has been removed, and it's like, yeah, the application might just record your environment at all times to send it up to like for example to spot products in your environment, to send it to marketing companies, because that's extremely valuable information for them at the cost of your privacy. And I think some people might view that as like, hey, like they're giving me this game for free, and then in exchange it's okay for me to let them look in my house. But I think that cost is like a little too high. And so I think there's definitely like, there is like an optimistic view of what the future can be, one where people are where the technology that people own protects them rather than is something that tries to make a profit off them. Like if you buy a product and it's like tracking you in order to make money off you, like the thing you bought isn't the product, you're the product.